That's Martin. Argentina just concentrating on maintaining possession here. Yunus Biasek.
Now we're seeing the Wallabies, how they're defending their defensive pattern and turned over from the Wallabies. Good work. They've worked very hard the last couple of weeks with their defensive coach, John Muggleton, on keeping their zone.
Yes, Tim, I think the key for the Wallabies is to be dominant when they make the tackle, to make it really difficult for Argentina to get the ball away to supports.
And the big thing from what Tim's talking about there is zones. They've got to make sure that if you're in the defensive line, you have about a metre on either side of you, and you've got to make sure on the other side of that, the bloke next to you is doing his part as well, or it just falls apart.
So David Lyons having to clean up that wheeled Australian scrum. He did well. And Larkham. Matthew Burke. Soaring kick to within 15 of the halfway line.
But that's the right idea for the Wallabies. Stephen Larkham, his kicking game is not his forte. So give it to the guys who can kick the ball, as we see Eddie Jones looking on.
Well, that's all right for you, Tim, as a back. And, you didn't gain much ground, and the forwards have had to trundle from the other side across to here. It's early days yet.
Number 2, Mario Ledesma here was ruled out of Argentina's World Cup squad in '99 for abusing a referee, but was later reinstated and forced to referee junior matches as a punishment. Well, that was a marginal one there. It's got to go down the centre of the tunnel, and that's the third not straight throw from Ledesma. So
the problem for Argentina is if they bring Mendes on, he's even worse. They call him the pie thrower. He's that bad at throwing that ball in.
We had Phil Kearns, they called him lightning because he never hit the one spot twice.
Look at the high knee lift action of David Lyons. He's causing havoc in that Puma defence. Larkham, Burke, Rogers, the pass was behind him. Execution letting the Wallabies down.
Gee, they're initiating wonderful starts, and I'm sure Todd Kefu would be delighted with the work of David Lyons with this pass. It goes in front there, and then this one's behind. Or did Matt Rogers overrun it?
He did overrun it. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, the skill of Rogers, he should have been able to take that every day of the week. He'd be filthy at himself.
I think the players just got to hold a little more depth. Matty Rogers maybe should have kept his depth. Matt Burke should have put the ball in front of him, but at least Australia are getting the ball out to their wings.
If Argentina want to stop this Australian juggernaut, which it is at the moment with possession, especially Lions, they've got to stop missing tackles. 6 missed to Argentina, 0 to Australia.
There's a good scrum for Australia, and Martin.
Accidental offside.
Now he had detached from the scrum there. The referees ruled him accidentally offside.
What's fantastic so far with the Australian, they're not trying to go head-to-head against the Argentinians. They know they'll be butting heads against a brick wall, so they're starting to use their smarts. They're trying to wheel it, trying to outfox them in that scrum engagement.
The Australian backline standing very wide here, plenty of room in between.
He shot all over the Aussies. Larkham! Looking for Saylor and Rogers. Bounce important for Rogers. Still in play, Burke. 10 metres out from the Puma goal line. Larkham wants it. So does Saylor. Now Larkham, flatly. Look at the line for the Wallabies. 3 on 2. Lions. Finally they tackle him. Martin. That was a try saver. Here's Larkham. A big line for the Wallabies. Roth went without it.
No advantage. Offside.
And offside play by Argentina, who were holding on by the skin of their teeth.
We talked earlier about Australia getting rhythm. You can see it starting to come. Great work in close. The ball's going wide. And yes, they're a little bit nervous. Things are breaking down, but they're looking dangerous.
What about the skill from Matt Rogers to keep that ball in on the right-hand side of the field? Stephen Larkham saw it open up. Wendell Saylor was standing on the touchline on this side as Stephen Larkham slid through that drift defence again from the Argentinian side. Watch how wide Saylor and Rogers are, and the skill for Rogers to keep that ball in nearly came to some points.
So it's still Australia 3-0, but a chance here to go further ahead. And Matt Rogers really enjoying himself out there. So now Flatley, who started the night perfectly, looking to strike another lethal blow here for the home team. It's a dream start for the Wallabies. They've squandered a couple of scoring opportunities, 6-0.
Stay on, 7 goals. That's good, that's fine.
Just inside Australia's territory. So Argentina looking to just consolidate things here. Corletto in from the back. It's Sailor showing bravery. And Gregan. Flatley, Joe Rock, Larkham, Matthew Burke's with him. Halfway line ahead, and that's brilliant support from Rock. Inside is Flatley. Now the Australians want to hold on to the ball. Lions, huge numbers for Smith. Wars outside, so is Cannon, and so is Rogers. Argentina regroups for Gregan here. 10 metres out. Phil Ward goes into scrum half. Now it's Smith. They're asking big questions of this Puma defence. 10 metres from the goal line. Cleared by Young. Rogers and Sailor. Sailor looking for the first try. He scored tries in his last 6 Test matches, and Wendell Sailor gets the debut try at Rugby World Cup 2003.
Well, none will be more delighted than Wendell Sailor, but listen to this crowd go off. Last week, the Rugby League Grand Final. This week, the Rugby World Cup, and Wendell performs. Great work, great vision, great width by the Wallabies. Rock stretched them. There was plenty of support. There was a worry the ball wasn't going to go in front of the man. And it struggled on this side of the field. It looked like it might break down. Wendell, go you good thing.
Tim Horan, first try. Some brilliant execution from the Australians.
Lovely little flick pass back inside his right-hand side. Matty Rogers to Sailor, and Sailor's strength to get over that line from 7 metres out.
The beauty about Rogers, you can see he's pumped up for this game. He has been everywhere so far. He's just trying to get into everything he can possibly do and touch. But you see that Wendell Sailor, he's on the big stage here. This is why he came from league. He wanted to be in the international spotlight. He's put everything into it to make sure that he was here today, and he hasn't let anybody down with a great try.
So this to give Australia 13-point start. Flatley, his most difficult kick so far. Just across the face. Australia 11, Argentina 0. So Wendell Sailor, what a moment to treasure for him.
What a start. Wallabies scoring points every time they're journeying, forcing the Argentines into error.
And what a scary sight for Longo when Wendell Sailor's coming at you. He's even bigger than the number 8. But Argentina has retained the ball from the kickoff. They desperately need to hold on to some possession here to put some pressure on the Wallabies.
Far better work. Simple, basic things. They go one out. They then join with others. They get a lot of powerful drive. I don't think they'll go to the backs too early.
Pichot to Contepomi. Now that one's gathering snow. Here comes Manuel Contepomi, and that's a penalty. It could also be a yellow card.
He did not even look at going at that ball then. He had one look where the ball was, and the man just went after the man.
Rush of blood.
13, number 13.
This is dangerous play. He wasn't even contesting the ball at any stage. We'll listen to the touch judge. The crowd here have gone off.
Now Wendell Sailor will appreciate that because he had a similar rush of blood at this ground.
Correct.
And he paid the price.
I thought it was fairly intentional. I didn't see any chance of going for the ball. I'm talking yellow. What do you think? Thank you very much. Everywhere. Sorry? No. Gus, composure, okay? Your player has deliberately taken a player in the air. I'm going to give him a yellow card.
Twin brother
Number
of
13.
Felipe. Their father played for Argentina in the 60s.
You must challenge in the air. You made no attempt to go for the ball. No, you are off. Dangerous play.
10 minutes off the field, deliberate foul. You can't attack a player in the air. Australia 11-0, Argentina a man down.
If you could find another way to make it worse, they just did. Yellow card.
Now this is where Australia have to keep putting on the points. They have to build some pressure back into the Argentinian half and start creating some of these opportunities that they're making and put some points on the board.
It's now a numbers game, Tim, and you're exactly right. They've got to pick the places where they can outnumber the Pumas and plug away there.
So knock on by Santiago Filan, and that's where Australia's just looking sharper in every facet of the play. Filan should have gathered that ball.
Still possession going Australia's way by more than 70%. Telling stat.
Well, you saw the front row coming in early before the engage was given, and off he goes again, David Lyons.
This is about numbers running at them, so there's still opposition players behind them.
So this Argentine defence in trouble out wide here. There's a few tight forwards on this side of the field, but it's been slowed down.
Not releasing, rolling over.
And it's time for Argentina just to slow down the tempo.
No, I did not. No.
But we're seeing a lack of poise on the international stage. This side is better than this. They played better against France. They played better against South Africa. I think the occasion might just be worrying them. They're nervous. Know they're capable of doing better than this.
On All Saints.
Roberto Grau to Ledesma. So Argentina, a man in the sin bin, looking to put some pressure on here.
Number 4 entering the line out from the receiver position.
Well, when the person who's supposed to receive the ball from the line out, you can't go into it.
And this could be telling. 3 points while someone on your own team is in the sin bin.
Well, it's eating up time on the clock, importantly, for Argentina.
It's also important for Argentina here. This is where Pichot's got to actually grab his team together, pull them in, start having a chat, talk to their forward leaders, say, let's start not worrying about the referee. Let's just get down to concentrating on our own game. We spoke about it before, about doing the simple things right. Get back into their own rhythm. Don't worry about what the Australians are doing. Just do what they've been training to do. They get the 3 points here. They're back into it into this first half, and they're eating up valuable time before they get their player back on the ground.
This one just has to go over for Argentina. A real kick in the guts here if Contepomi can't convert. Los Pumas on the board at Telstra Stadium. Wallabies 11, Argentina 3.
That's a start. Now more. They've got to change this possession stat. They've got to be able to get people into spaces, and they've got to do it very quickly.
And it's also very important to make sure Australia, realising they've got the extra man, they don't start throwing wild passes around. They've still got to treat them with respect.
Lost a head there by Joe Roth. Referee plays advantage.
No advantage from the kick.
And what about the composure of Joe Roth in that try, where he made the break-in support down the left-hand side, then steadied play and threw a long cut-out pass to restart, to kick-start the movement again.
Very experienced player, Joe Roth. 19-year-old at the 1995 World Cup. He needs to lead from the front tonight.
Great to have him back, but Larkham so far, a big effect on the game. 13 times passed or run. And the Argentines haven't been able to work out a counter.
So nearly 5 minutes gone for Manuel Contepomi in the sin bin.